everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do a story time. So I want you to go ahead and get your chips, get your drink, whatever you gotta do, get your wine, get in your robe like me, get comfortable, girl. Cause today we're gonna talk about some things that happened in the past. So we're gonna get right into it today. And as you can see from the title, basically the story time is, I think we've all experienced it between a nail tech, a hairstylist, or a lash tech, especially where I live in Atlanta. So yeah, today's story time is a horror story basically about a lash tech that I went to. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into it, okay? So basically, I was looking through my phone because I had to find the exact date. All I know is that it was around 2 years ago during COVID. I was pregnant with my first child, Gianna, my first and only. And this was literally like a couple days before my baby shower. So of course it's my baby shower. I want to do it big. I'm having a girl. I'm excited. So of course, you know, I got to get done up. So I booked an appointment to get my nails done and to get my lashes done. I usually do my hair most of the time. I've always done my hair since I was younger. So I was just going to do my own hair. I ended up doing like a quick weave. But I definitely want to get my nails done and my lashes done. So there's this girl that my best friend had went to previously, and I went on her page. Her work is bomb, like fire. I've never seen someone like put that much work and effort into it. And I'm a Virgo, so I'm a perfectionist. So when I saw her work, I was just like, oh yes, this is right up my alley. It looks chef's kiss. So I knew I had to book with her. And plus my best friend had went to her and I seen it live in action. So I was like, oh yeah, perfect. This is the girl for me. So I went ahead and I went on her booking site, and I, you know, made my little reservation, which I kind of waited to the last minute, and that's my fault. I really should have booked like a couple of days before, but I'm a last minute person. I always plan ahead in my mind, but when it comes to actually like making appointments and doing stuff ahead of time or ahead of an event, I never do that. I'm always like the person to get my outfit on the day of or get my hair done the day of, which is really bad because you just really risking your life. It's a hit or miss with that type of stuff. So you don't be like me. But basically I set the appointment for a day before the baby shower. And that was June 27th. I have the confirmation email. I never delete my emails. I'm slick a hoarder when it comes to that. So I went and I found the confirmation email for June 27th. So, and I booked my nails on the same day too, but I think it was like a good 4 hours in between, and my lash appointment was first. So cool. I think it was like around $85 or $95. I paid my little 10, I think it was 10. I'll have to double check the email, but it was like $10 to $15 for the deposit. I think the nails, I mean, that's a separate story, but I think the nails was around 25. Anyway, everything is booked, ready to go. So I'm the type of person, like, I'm gonna take you at your word. I'm gonna look at the policy, I'm gonna read it through, and that's that. Like, sometimes if I'm not sure about someone, I will probably text them and follow up with them and ask some questions. But 9 times out of 10, it's on your booking site, it's on your policy, that's what I'm going by. So I didn't really hit this girl up. I was just waiting for my appointment. I get the confirmation email, I get the address a couple days later, cool. So, okay, the day of, here is where the story goes downhill. So the day of, I'm excited, I'm hyped because again, I saw my best friend get her lashes done. So I was just like, ooh, I'm finna be out here looking like a Mamiana, excited. So at this time, I don't remember, I was staying on the east side of Georgia. Like, my people who live in Georgia or Metro Atlanta, if you should know what I mean when I say the east side of Georgia. But I lived around 45 to 50 minutes away from the girl on the other side of town. So of course I left early because one thing when it comes to our black nail techs, lash techs, hair stylists, when you're tardy, they don't play. They are quick to cancel in a minute. Like, you 5 minutes late, they be ready to kick you out the door, keep your deposit, and send you on your way looking like a chicken. So I was like, oh, I'm not playing with this girl today. Tomorrow's my baby shower. I'm gonna make sure that I leave on time. And I'm not the most, I'm not really good when it comes to being on time. You can ask anyone who knows me. So I made a conscious effort to get there on time. So on the way, even beat some traffic, got there, not too early, but it's probably about 15 minutes prior to the appointment, which was around 2. And I think my nail appointment was around 6:30, something like that. But anyway, so I get to it's like an apartment complex. And when I get in there, the address that she provided to me, it had like the street number and everything, but it didn't have an apartment number. So I get to the place and I see it's an apartment complex, but there's no apartment number. So I'm just like, it leaves me like maybe like right in front of the leasing office, kind of in the middle of nowhere, and it doesn't take me to a direct spot. So I'm just kind of like, okay, cool.
Red flags.
This should have been my first sign to get up out of there, but no, your girl wanted her lashes to be on and popping. So I parked real quick and I gave the girl a call. She has like a business line. When it comes to time, I don't feel like sitting there texting, waiting for you to see a text. So I would rather call you. And that's why I didn't really have no messages between me and her, because I was calling her. So I call homegirl up, no answer. I call her again, no answer. But when I called her the second time, I probably waited like 2 to 3 minutes, because again, I was still 15 minutes early. So I wasn't late. So I wasn't tripping that hard, but I need to know the apartment number. So I was kind of like, what's going on? So I called her the second time, no answer.
Red flags.
So at that point, I was just having like a gut feeling like maybe I should go. This is kind of unprofessional. Like, why are you not answering the phone? If you know in your head, like, hey, I have a schedule set up for the day. I have an appointment at 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever it is. You know in your mind, like, hey, you're probably prepping your stuff, getting ready, and you want to have your phone kind of on call. If I am to cancel, if I'm running late, if anything, you're going to want to have your phone on call as a businesswoman to, you know, communicate with your customers. So I'm just kind of like, I don't like unprofessionalism. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to wait like 5 more minutes. Actually, I think I ended up waiting until 2. So let's say, yeah, it was like 5-10 more minutes. No call. So at that point, I was just, no call back. So at that point, I was just kind of like, okay, should I just leave and like go to my homegirl who do my nails at the local nail shop and just get her to do something real quick for me? Like at this point, I was just kind of like over it, because I'm like, I'm just sitting here looking crazy in this people's apartment complex. So when I was literally pulling off, the girl ended up calling me back, or who I thought was the girl. I pick up the phone and it's a male. I'm like, hello? He's like, hello? I'm like, hello? And he basically was just like, oh, you here for the appointment, right? For your, to get your lashes done, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm here for my 2 o'clock appointment, yes. For so-and-so. I said her name. We're not gonna give her name because it's just not important. I'm not gonna put her business out there. So I'm just gonna say, like, if I refer to her, I might call her sis. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm here for the appointment with sis. Like, my lash appointment is at 2. I'm at the address. I've been here for about 15 minutes now. I got here early, but I don't have the apartment number. So he's like, all right, yeah, where you at? I'm like, you know, let's just say I'm at building D. And he's like, oh yeah, you gotta come to building G. So when you come in the complex, you know, make a right, then make another right. And then, you know, he's giving me directions basically to get to their apartment or her apartment. So in the back of my head, I'm like, if this is your dude, even if y'all live together or whatever the situation is, like, why you have him answering what's supposed to be your business line?
Red flags.
And like, that's kind of crazy. But at this point, I was kind of relieved that someone answered the phone, because again, my baby shower was the next day. So I was just kind of like, bump it. Like, I just want to get my lashes done at this point. It's a little weird, but I should have left. But I, of course, took his directions and continue on to go ahead and find where the apartment was. So I get to the apartment, get out the car, and I think they said it was upstairs. I know it was upstairs. So the guy was like, yeah, once you get to this building where the upstairs apartment, like on the left. I know it's on the left. I remember it vividly. So I go upstairs, I go to the door, and I'm thinking in my head, like, as I'm standing by the door waiting for someone to answer, something inside my brain is like, girl, let it go. You didn't pay the full price. Get your $10 back and go sit down somewhere. It's not that serious. But I was just like so determined, especially because I see my best friend get her lashes done. So you know how like you can see pictures and videos on Instagram or Facebook, but you be catfished in person and that person don't perform the same as the pictures and the video. Because my best friend got her lashes done and they look so natural, so clean, so great, I was just like, no, like I want to be on it popping. So I'm standing by the door. A little while goes by. Like I'm standing out there looking like a homeless child for a hot minute. Then finally, when somebody finally answers the door, of course, it's a dude. It's not the female. I've seen her pictures. I know pretty much what she looks like from her page. It's a dude. And not only is a dude, I'm assuming it's the guy who answered the phone or who called me, but the dude is like in a robe, and not just any robe, not this one, not long and plush and big, but he was in a robe, like a female's robe, like basically too small. His chest was basically exposed, and the whole scene was just like really uncomfortable and kind of weird. So in my mind, I'm looking for her, because if I don't see homegirl and this is her roommate or her man trying to be funny and call me into the apartment on some weird stuff, I ain't got time for that. I don't got time to be on the news, honey. So I'm steady kind of like looking in a little bit like, oh yeah, I'm here for sis. You know, I think I spoke to you on the phone just now. And he's like, oh yeah, she in the back. So I'm thinking in my head like, girl, again, as a professional, you start off not answering your phone, but now you got your dude taking your calls, and then he answering the door to for your clients in your robe. It's not giving. It's not. So I should have really left and be like, oh, you know, you're good. But again, I was determined. So I go inside because she's finally like starting to come out, like, oh, hey, like she's starting to greet me and she's starting to kind of come to the door. So she's like, oh yeah, come in, blah, blah, blah. So I come in, I'm like, yeah, hey, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, sorry about all that. You know, my phone wasn't near me or whatever. I'm like, yeah, girl, I see you was clearly busy. But anyway, she's like, yeah, my phone wasn't near me. I'm sorry about that, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, oh yeah, no worries, blah, blah, blah. You know, I just didn't want you to think that I was late because I was actually here early, but I didn't have the full address. So yeah, I'm just, you know, it's cool, we're good. You know, let's get this thing done. So she has me lay down on the table, and you think with all this going on, she would have had her station prepped with all the lashes out and stuff. But no, I was just basically laying there, and she's like chit-chatting with her dude, and they're like flirting back and forth as she's like trying to, I guess, put out the glue and get out whatever utensil she's about to use on me. They're flirting back and forth. She's talking about oh yeah, he's so silly, girl. Look at him. Like, he's so goofy. And he's in the kitchen making him a sandwich. So we know what that means. Either something just happened or something about to happen. So he making a sandwich, and she talking about, oh girl, he don't love me. He ain't making me no sandwich, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just laying on the table doing a little nervous, uncomfortable smile like, girl, I don't care about all that. Y'all can do whatever y'all gotta do after I leave, you know what I'm saying? As long as no one brings no sausage out, I'm good. But right now, we need to focus on these babies. I don't really care about what y'all got going on. We need to focus on getting me right and tight. So finally, when she finally gets everything kind of laid out and she's done all this talking and chattering, she's like, okay, yeah, lay down, get comfortable, blah, blah, blah. What set do you want again? I'm like, blah, blah, blah. I want this hybrid set. I even showed her like the video from her page of the exact set that I wanted. And she's like, okay, bet. So as she like dipping the lash, I guess, in the glue and still kind of like prepping, she's just like, oh, so like, why are you getting your lashes done? Like, is there a special occasion? You know, why did you choose to book with me? I like to ask people that. So I start off with, oh, I booked with you because my best friend came to you previously and I seen your work and it's bomb. Like, I loved it and I had to come see for myself. And she was like, oh, thank you. And then I also proceed to tell her, yeah, I'm getting my lashes done for my baby shower tomorrow. And when she heard me say that, it's like she paused for a minute. And I was just like, okay, I'm just waiting for her to start the process. So she's like, oh, you're pregnant? How many months pregnant are you? So I'm like, I think at the time I was either 7, about to be 8 months, like a week in between, or I just turned 8 months. So we're just gonna go with 8 months for the sake of the story. I think it was 8 months. But I was like, yeah, I'm 8 months pregnant. I'm almost there, blah, blah, blah. I kind of started my shower late, but I'm excited. And I just want to get my lashes done. So she starts to talk about, oh, really? She was like, what? Really? You're that far along? Because when I carried my daughter, like, you just couldn't tell that I was pregnant until like 9 months. Like, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the way that she was sitting, but every person I came in contact with just was like, you don't look pregnant. Like, you didn't see it really in my face or anything until like that last month. Like, everything just hit me like a ton of bricks. My face swelled up, my feet swelled up, and my stomach poked all the way out. But before that, you really couldn't tell. You just think I'm a little chubby. So she was like, what? Like, you're not showing like that? That's crazy. I didn't even know, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, but I don't know if we should move forward. So I'm just like, what do you mean? So she's like, yeah, I've gotten complaints from previous clients who were also pregnant that the glue really irritates their eyes. I'm not sure if it has something to do with their pregnancy because, a lot of people say like your senses are heightened or a lot of things irritate pregnant women. But I've had several complaints from several women about the lash glue I use and how it just really messes with their eyes. And I'm thinking like, okay. I'm really just ignoring her. I thought she was just saying that as like more like a suggestion, not really telling me that she couldn't do it. So I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, well, I've never had an issue because when I was, I want to say around 3 or 4 months pregnant, like way earlier on in my pregnancy, I got my lashes done by another lash tech in Atlanta. He knew I was pregnant. He probably uses the same type of glue and he never made an issue. He never said nothing. Nothing like that. So I'm like, that's kind of like the first time I'm hearing it. So I'm just like, girl, what is going on here? So she's like, yeah, I just, I've had really bad experiences in the past. So I just don't think that we should move forward. So I'm just like, this is not real life. Like, all the things I just went through, didn't give me the full address. Your boyfriend answering the phone like he's your secretary. Then he come answering the door in your freaking robe and all this unprofessionalism going on. Like, I don't want to hear nothing about some glue. Like, it's glue. Most people who go get their lashes done, when you see like the before and after videos on Instagram and stuff, most of every client, their eyes are a little red and a little irritated from the glue because it's so close to your, lash line. So I was just kind of like, girl, like that's some BS. Like every client that you probably deal with has some type of slight irritation when it comes to the glue. So like, why are you trying to play me right now, bro? But just everything coming together, I just quickly realized like, obviously she wanted to have some bae time and to do some grown-up things. And clearly my booked appointment was interrupting that. And I feel like this was her way of kind of copping out of doing my lashes. And at this point, I was just kind of so over it. I was just like, okay, so what can you do for me? And she was just like, oh, I can put some strip lashes on. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, isn't that the same type of glue that you use? But okay, at this point, I kind of just forgot about the whole process because I was so irritated. So I was just kind of like, okay, as long as I look decent for tomorrow, it is what it is. So I'm like, how much would the strips be? And she's like, oh, I'll charge you $25 for it. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm okay. Because, girl, I could go to the store and put on lashes myself. Or I can go to Linda down the street at my local nail salon in the back where they be putting them lashes on. Don't be trying to act like I'm ghetto. I know some of y'all done it too. They be charging you like $5 to $10 and they put them lashes on and they be looking great. They put the strip lashes on and they do what they need to do. I'm not paying you $25. You don't even deserve that much of my money after everything that you just put me through. I'm not giving you that. So I was just like, no, I'm good. I'm good. So I get up, I get my stuff, and she's like, I'm just sorry, girl. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. You know, I've just had bad experiences before. So, girl, I just left. I was just so over it. But I was really mad. I'm not gonna lie. Like, when I was in the car, I was so upset about the whole thing that I was kind of shaking. And I called my best friend and just vented the whole way home because, like, I was talking about this the whole week before. The previous week before, I was just every day, I'm excited. Ooh, I'm excited to get my lashes done. I kept pulling up the picture like, ooh, it's gonna look just like that. It's gonna be chef's kiss. I was mad and I was disappointed. And even before I left, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna send you the deposit bag. I'm gonna send you the deposit bag. I'm so sorry about that. I leave and I sit in the car for like maybe 15 minutes on the phone with my best friend before I even pull off. And I'm like, and she didn't even send me back my deposit. I'm like, girl, you don't have no other client coming through. I don't see no one else pulling up. You need to go ahead. The minute I walked out that door, you should have been cash apping me back my deposit or sending it back on PayPal. I'm not sure how I paid, but you should have been initiating that refund. And I think it was Cash App. And so I'm just like, I was just irritated. Like, yeah, it's $10, but it's the principle. Like, you don't need $1 of my money, my hard-earned money, when you just put me through all this crazy stuff. So basically, that's really the end of the story. I never ended up getting my money back. I'm very, like, when it comes to this type of stuff, I be like brushing stuff off. I'm too passive when it comes to stuff like this. So I really should have like messaged her and been like, yo, can you send me my money back? Or I should have sent another request on Cash App or something. But I mean, if it was like $20, $25 or more, maybe I would have fought a little bit more for it, like tried a little bit harder. But at that point, I just kind of let it go. My baby shower was the next day. I had a great time. I didn't wear no lashes, but I sure worked the hell out of some mascara, and it worked out. I had a great time. Everyone had a great time. It was just a great moment. So even though that was crappy and I was just done with that situation, my baby shower ended up being great anyway. But I told myself, like, bro, these techs, lash techs, nail techs, hairstylists, like, they're unreal. Like, they have no compassion, no real regard for real people going through struggles, having things to do. They don't care about anybody else's time. They be real selfish. And a lot of them, when they get a little following and they, you know, get their name out there, they get a little too cocky and they kind of forget about customer service and really making sure that their client is served right and they do things correctly. And they just be doing stuff willy-nilly whenever they feel like. They be showing up late. They be charging all these extra fees. They be just doing their own thing, just super unprofessional. And I'm just like, at the end of the day, yes, you're providing a service and I'm paying you, but a part of the whole service is still customer service. And I feel like a lot of techs, especially, unfortunately, are people of color. They tend to throw that out the window and they're just like, hey, once you get the service and I get my money, that's it. Everything in between, I don't care about. And it's really not fair. And another thing I like to mention is their policies. They be trying to trick people and change their policies after situations happen, because that's another thing that I was mad about. She never put in her policy that, hey, I don't service pregnant women because of X, Y, and Z. She never put that in her policy. So if I really wanted to, I could press the issue and make her do my lashes, because I'm like, girl, that's not in your policy. You should have listed that as a concern or something that I could have read through and been like, oh, word, she don't work on pregnant women. Let me find someone else. But instead, you maybe go through all this and waste my time and deal with all this extra stuff in the process when you could have just communicated. But girl, it is what it is. That happened so long ago. I don't care no more. But these lash techs and nail techs and hairstylists for real be tripping. And they need to, like, on some real stuff, get it together. So I hope y'all enjoyed this story. Comment down below, like, subscribe, share with your friends, your family. And, you know, even send me some emails about some of the experiences that you've had. I might go ahead and read them on my channel if that's something that y'all be interested in. But again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.